Welcome back to Pick It Built. Let's get back to work on this trailer. In the last episode, we finished off POR and all these parts, including the leaf springs. Now, let's get to work on getting this rear diff axle, is that a word? Finished, cleaned up. We're gonna get it painted along with the frame, and hopefully we can get everything put back together. We have multiple broken off bolts, and so we're gonna have to go in and drill out all these snapped off bolts. Can you relate? So here's all these broken off bolts, and I've got a few more under here. I don't even know if that'll focus. And we got it! Finally! We used some speed outs. I tried to weld a nut on there. That didn't work. I ended up just drilling it out and then just re-threaded it with a tap. And so now we've got a couple more on the other side, and we're in business. So we got everything cleaned up as much as we can. Everything is prepped. We are going to use some converter. Alright, so there's one coat. You can see how it's turning purple in some areas. We want it to turn a purplish black is the goal. So I'm going to apply one more coat here, and then we're going to let it sit for anywhere from 24 hours to 48 hours, and then we're going to paint. 2 layers on there. It's managed to cure about 48 hours now. Alright, we've got all these bolts retapped. So we are now good to go. Now let's clean up the bottom side of this frame, and that should be it. Alright guys, we've reached a stage here where we are just about ready to paint. Now, something to note on this rust converter, here's what I've learned so far from this stuff. It seems like it works really good at converting actual real rust. Now the only problem with this frame is the whole frame wasn't rusty. And so everywhere that was bare metal and things like that, I'm not sure if it really put a good paintable surface on there. And so what I'm gonna do is go back behind it. I've got this Rustoleum professional primer, and I'm going to use that just to add another protective layer. And then I've got this Eastwood 2K chassis paint that I'm going to use, and hopefully this stuff works really well and we get some good protection on all these parts. Alright, let's get to painting. everything is now painted, and our next plan of attack is to start reassembly. However, we've reached a couple stumbling blocks. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, the first thing is this is a 5-lug old Toyota frame, and so the lug pattern is 5 lugs. No big deal, but I have wheels and tires for 6 lug. My 4Runner is a 6 lug, and I want to be able to fit those 4Runner wheels onto this. That way all the wheels are matching, and so in case I need a spare tire and all that, everything can transfer from one to another. And so here's the first thing I got. Alright, this is a 5-lug to 6-lug adapter, and we're going to use these on there, and that way we can run those 4Runner wheels on this trailer. Alright, the next problem or thing that we have, let me show you what I'm talking about exactly. Alright, so here's the leaf springs, and I was showing you guys this little inch block that I have, and that fits on these leaf springs no problem, and I was going to use that to lift it a little bit. Here's the only problem with these old 5-lug axles is that the spring seat is on the bottom, and so that means that if I use this block, it's actually going to lower the truck or the trailer instead of lifting it, and so that is going to be a problem. And so my solution on that is going to be, I'm going to do a flip kit, and I'm going to weld on some new spring perches, and since I don't have any kind of brake system on this, I'm not worried about extending the brake lines, and this piece will actually still fit on top. It'll actually go this way, and I don't think it's going to change the length too terribly on my shocks. So I don't know if I'll have to get extended shocks or not, but that'll be what we'll have to figure out. And so let's experiment and see what we got to do next on all this. So these are the original U-bolts. I actually have some of these style U-bolts that came off my old Tacoma. I don't think those are going to work for what I am trying to do, but I bought some extended Pro Comp U-bolts. They're just like this, but they're longer, and I think we'll still be able to use that lifting block, and if we flip the axle and have these extended U-bolts, we'll get quite a significant amount of lift. So this is the tire and wheel setup, and that's what I'm planning on putting on there since I have it. And you can see right here, this is the old tire that was on there, and so that's a pretty significant size difference, and so I don't want to have any kind of rub. And also using that little wheel adapter, that's going to push the tires out, and so it could have some fender rub issues too if we don't get enough lift. Another concern I have is on these drums, I'm not using brakes on this, and so this cover here is not necessarily necessary, you know, and I took all the components off, and so there's exposed holes back here, you know, for the weather conditions to get in. And so mud, dirt, rain, all that could just get trapped inside. And so what I may do, see if I can get this off, I may just run these open like that, and that way I can clean it and all that kind of stuff. Now it should be fine to be able to run it like that. Let me know what you guys think on that. Also, with running it open like that, when I use this adapter, you know, that's 2 inches. And so that's going to push those wheels out 2 inches, and you see how that sleeve's on there. You know, by taking that outer cover for the drum brakes there, it saves me just a little bit, you know, as far as pushing the wheel into the wheel well better. So that's an option. I'm gonna think about that. That's something that maybe we can experiment with. Alright guys, also got this swing back. It's a boat trailer jack that we can mount in the front on this, and we're gonna see how that works. This one might be too big. It's just a Harbor Freight. We'll probably get it out of the box and kind of size it up. If it's too big, I'm gonna take it back and we might go with a smaller one. But I've got this one for now, and we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna probably end this video right there and give you guys a chance to comment below and let me know what you think as far as flipping and all that. Before I start having to weld a new perch on there and all that, I'd like to know from you guys if you've had any experience with doing the flip and what you guys think might be the best alternative to be able to get some lift. I know you can do an add-a-leaf, but I don't have that. I've got everything that you see that I showed you on the video, and it doesn't seem like welding a new perch is going to be too complicated. And so I think we'll get a maximum amount of lift on that. Then I'm not stiffening the leaf springs with an add-a-leaf, and kind of keeping the same suspension geometry is what I'm thinking. And so I'm going to study that a little more, and we'll work on that in the next video. Appreciate you guys watching. Until next time. Or we could just extend the rear shackles. Aha.